I'm Amy Benjamin for Staff Development Workshops. Today, I'd like to share with you a few samples, a few snippets from my workshop on teaching grammar and vocabulary, engaging grammar and vocabulary. And today, I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks and easy strategies from my book, Teaching Grammar, What Really Works. And this is what we're going to learn. Now, let's start with nouns. Well, teachers are always telling me for all the grades, oh, I taught that, they learned it last year, they learned it the year before, what a noun is, and then they don't know what a noun is. Well, students can parrot a definition. A noun is a word that names a person, place, or thing, but that doesn't mean they really understand the concept of a noun. And it isn't that they shouldn't know the definition of the parts of speech, but they should have other strategies so that they really know them deeply and they really can identify them in real language. So I'm going to teach you a very, very easy way to do that. It couldn't possibly be more simple. The blank. Any word that you can fit into that space and have it make sense is going to be a noun, even if it didn't start life off as a noun. Now, when we look at our list here, well, it's pretty easy to see flower and bird are nouns. Those are, well, a bird is an animal, so, a child might be confused by that. But when we come into the abstract nouns over here, and those are very, very important, it's hard to classify those as a person, place, or thing. Now, another test that will work just as easily is my blank. Any word that will fit into that frame and makes sense is going to be a noun. More importantly, why should kids know nouns? Well, because then we can talk to them about possessive nouns, let's say, or we can talk to them about a variety of nouns that they that they use in their writing. You need proper nouns for specificity. You need abstract nouns to talk about ideas. You need concrete nouns to be visual. And you need that kind of a balance. And when you can talk about nouns in writing, then you have an enriched conversation, which is why I think it's important to teach grammar, so that it enriches the conversation about the language between students and teachers. Some people say, well, what about a proper noun like Catherine? You can't say the Catherine or my Catherine. Well, actually you can, because you could say, well, this is the Catherine I met in New Jersey. This is not the Catherine that I met in New York. And also you capitalize proper nouns, and so those are specific. Okay, next part of speech, a verb. A verb is the engine of the sentence. The verb is the most important part of the sentence. Get the verb right, the whole rest of the sentence will fall right into place. What's a verb? Well, can Spider-Man do it? And if Spider-Man can do it, then it is a verb. You know the Spider-Man song, Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can, and then that song goes on to list verbs. And any word that tells you what Spider-Man or anybody else or anything else can do is a verb. Now, another way to understand verbs is this. Any word that will fit into the frame, I am blanking, that word right there is a verb, or it's acting as a verb. Parts of speech in English are flexible. Any of the four major parts of speech, noun, verb, adverb, adjective, can change its form and act as, not take the place, but do the function of any other part of speech. Another way to understand verbs is this. Change the tense of your sentence. What word changed? That's your verb. Could be a helping verb, too. The word that changes when you change the tense of the verb, that's your verb. When you change the tense of the sentence, I'm sorry. Okay. I am inging. All right, now let's talk about adjectives. So here we have a bunch of trucks. Now again, I know that your students can parrot the definition. An adjective is a word that describes a noun, but that doesn't mean they really understand. When you say you need more adjectives, doesn't really mean that they understand what that means. So when you say you need fewer adjectives, you need stronger nouns, fewer adjectives. Your adjectives are redundant. Or when you say you need an adjective in this sentence, not an adverb. Okay, so here's your frame for adjectives. Very simple, the blank truck. Any word that will fit into that frame is going to be an adjective. An adjective answers the question, what kind? Another frame is the truck is very blank. Now a word that's an adjective will fit here and fit here. Okay. Next, an adverb. I used to have trouble with adverbs. Then I understood that they answer certain questions. So an adverb will fit into this frame. She joined the team, then you're going to have it's usually an ly verb. Although, if you say she joined the team yesterday, yesterday would be an adverb. Or she joined the team tomorrow. Tomorrow would be an adverb. Now, we are very familiar with the ly adverbial endings. But that doesn't mean that every word that ends with ly is an adverb. See, if you think that, then you don't really understand what adverbs are. Because you can't say she joined the team friendly, she joined the team lovely. These look like adverbs because they have the ly, but actually they're adjectives. The friendly truck, the lovely truck, the brotherly truck, the neighborly truck. All patterns. This is all about patterns. Okay, now, here's a little visual, an anchor chart, that simply gives you the cueing questions for nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. So it's easier than you think to teach the parts of speech. We don't want kids to just be circling parts of speech out of exercises in the workbook. That doesn't improve their writing. That doesn't improve their grammar. That just shows that they can pick things out in sentences that are very well behaved. And all the nouns look like nouns. All the adjectives look like adjectives. We want to be able to enrich the conversation by saying you need stronger verbs, right? Or let's say a kid, very common, it says, I did good. Okay, well, we could be talking about a blood drive, and then it would be you did good. But if we're talking about how you play tennis, then you did well. You need the adverbial form. She joined the team well. You need the adverbial form for an action verb. All right, so we want to enrich the conversation. Next part of speech, prepositions. Okay, why do we have a picture of a rainbow here? Because here's our frame. Any word that will fit right here is going to be a preposition. Prepositions give you time and place detail. Right now we're talking about place detail. So there you go. Those are examples of prepositions. Now, learning a concept is much deeper and much better and much more useful than just singing a song that has the prepositions in it. That isn't teaching a concept. That's just teaching you how to memorize a song. All right. Now, preposition, by the way, is called a preposition because it's the before, and the position. The position of what? Well, the position of a noun or pronoun, which always follows a preposition somewhere over the rainbow, and we call the rainbow the object of a preposition. A prepositional phrase always has an object. Object is a noun or a pronoun. Now, prepositional phrases are very important in writing because they give you time and place detail. They make your writing come alive and they give your writing rhythm. So we're always asking kids to vary their sentence structure. Using prepositional phrases is a wonderful way to teach them how to do that. This is a passage of text from In on At For With. Incidentally, I did this lesson with 6th and 7th graders, and it worked out so beautifully. I did it as a guest teacher, and they even wrote me letters full of prepositional phrases that they color-coded. It was wonderful. All right, so let's look at what we have here. In cartoon hell on hot coals, you see how all of these prepositional phrases, what they do is they deliver a noun. They deliver visuals. They deliver specifics. And that is one of the things that gives your writing detail and dimension. And when you can talk about prepositions and you say that, and you say to students, Identify the prepositional phrases that you use and add a few more. And make sure that the prepositional phrase is adding additional information. Make sure that it isn't redundant. Make sure that you begin some of your sentences with prepositional phrases. You know how beginning writers, they have that very plodding, short and choppy sentence style. If they begin some sentences with prepositional phrases, then they get some rhythm, not to mention detail. Okay, so when I did this lesson, students had a rough draft, they had a work in progress, and what I wanted them to do was simply add, since they're beginners, let's just add a few. Let's choose 1 or 2 or 3 of these and add them to your work in progress. And the moral of the story is that prepositional phrases help your reader visualize. All right, now let's move into another lesson, another quick lesson, which is complete sentences. And we're talking about complete declarative sentences. We don't care about incomplete questions or commands. Complete declarative sentence. Well, of course they know a sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. Well, but they don't really understand quite what a complete thought is because that's abstract. I'm going to show you a way that works beautifully. I call it the they believe that test, and here's how it works. Again, it's a frame. If you can put the words they believe that excuse me, in front of a group of words and have it make sense, then that group of words is a complete sentence, even if it begins with a pronoun. Like it hurts. Well, that's a complete sentence, even though I don't know what it is. Now, some people will say, well, why can't you teach that a complete sentence has a subject and a predicate? Well, I'll show you why in a moment. All right, so let's give this the they believe that test. They believe that frogs catch flies. Now, subject, verb, object. But if you were to put if in front of frogs catch flies, then it still has a subject, verb, and an object, but it's not a complete sentence now because you added a subordinated conjunction. So they believe that if frogs catch flies, that's not going to work. And you can see that it's not going to work. All right, with their sticky tongues. They believe that with their sticky tongues. No, that's not a complete, that doesn't sound right. With their sticky tongue. I don't have enough information because what the they believe that trick does, I have to call it a trick because that minimizes it. It's more powerful than that. It triggers that part of your brain that knows what a complete sentence is. Frogs are amphibians. Okay. They believe that. Frogs are amphibians. That is a complete sentence. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, more words than the complete sentence that we just thought. Yet, if you put they believe that in front of it, it does not work as a complete sentence. So you can have kids check each other's work with the they believe that test. Give the they believe that test, administer the they believe that test to every group of words that looks like it thinks it's a complete sentence on their partner's paper. It begins with a capital letter, ends with a period. Let's see if it passes the they believe that test. All right, so this is why I am so passionate about teaching grammar, because I know as an English teacher for, 33 years, I know that we can enrich the conversation about writing and about reading, about text in general, when we have the meta language, when we have the language of the language. All right, so what I've presented to you are just a few little snippets from a longer webinar, goes deeper into these and other grammatical concepts, all of which are easy to teach, and they really work, and they stay learned, and they improve writing. And thank you very much. I hope to hear from you, work with you and your teachers. My name is Amy Benjamin for Staff Development Workshops. Namaste.